I'll show you all of the buttons on the camera and what they do. Let's take a look starting at the top left of the camera. Right up here, we're going to see three quick access buttons: quality, white balance, and ISO. Of course, that's the sensitivity, the way the camera responds to color, and the quality or compression of the images. Right under it is our release control. Remember that to be able to adjust this, you actually have to push this lock button to release the lock on it so it doesn't inadvertently move, and that's your single shot continuous shooting modes there. We're going to leave that on single. And let's go down to the back up here. I may as well show you the hot shoe. This is where you put your top mounted flash up here. Keep these contacts clean. Now let's start over in the back of the top left. This is for your playing back images over here. That little arrow is always the display button. Garbage can for deleting images. The menu button for bringing up our menus. Lock button, which locks the images or puts that little skeleton key. It keeps them from being deleted with the delete function. This to work together during playback for zooming in and zooming back out and getting to our multiple image display mode where you can put like 9 images up. Here's our OK button, and that works in concert with a lot of the things you're going to be selecting in the menus. And when you need to get where you're going, you use your multi-controller here, and then you need to accept it, you're going to press that OK button. And let's go over to the right over here. Of course, this is our viewfinder that we're going to look through, our optical viewfinder, and this slides off to put that blocker on when you're going to do your timer exposures and get yourself in the shot. And onto the right here is the diopter. When you look through here, if you use glasses, wear them and adjust this for a very sharp image the first time you use the camera, and leave it there. Now let's go over to the right here and take a look at these controls. The first one's going to be your autofocus and auto exposure lock button. It's in the center. You push it in and hold it in concert with the shutter button to lock the auto exposure and autofocus. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The metering modes are right here, all the way from color 3D matrix metering down to spot metering, and that's adjusted by turning the outside control. It clicks into position like that. The AF on is the same, which is autofocus on, is the same as pressing the shutter halfway down in the front over here. So and your thumb's going to be right there. A lot of times you want to be able to do that with your thumb. It's right there. Main control dials here, rotate it back and forth for doing some adjustments for our f-stops and such. We'll show you that. Sub-command dials in front. We'll show you that in a moment. Here's your multi-direction or multi-way controller here. It has 8 different points plus a center push on it, and it can be locked from inadvertent use with this lock switch over here. Used again to navigate the menus and do a lot of things, move images around, go through your images. Here's your autofocus area control, all the way from the full auto down to a little spot selection there. Right here's a CF light. This comes on when the camera's compressing images to the CF card. Actually, we can cover the top over here first, and that's going to be your information LCD display. It's going to tell you a lot about what's happening with the camera when you're taking pictures. All that information is available in other places too, but this is the quick way to see exactly how your camera's set up during shooting. Now over here is your mode button, and that goes between all of our program auto, shutter, and aperture priority manual modes. You're going to push it in and rotate your main control dial here to change your modes, indicated in the top left. This is your exposure compensation. When you press that down, you can adjust it, the main control dial in the back, and get a little bit of biasing into the meter itself and adjust the exposure. Here's our main shutter button, of course pressing halfway down until you hear the beep beep, meaning we're focused, and then follow through to take the picture. Our on and off rotating switches here. Rotate it to the on position. If you push it to the spring position further, the backlight, green light, comes in back of this LCD here so you can see it at night. Right now it's bright so you can't see it. Let's go around to the front. Sub-command dial up here for, of course, rotating for adjusting things on our f-stops and things like that. It's one of the ways that camera's controlled. And right here is our focused assist light. It's sort of like a little flashlight. It shoots out a white beam of light to assist the camera to be able to focus in dark situations. Plus, it's the red eye reduction, closing your iris down in people's eyes. These two buttons here are right where your fingers are when you're holding the camera. Depth of field preview on top stops down the camera. And the bottom one is our function button, works in concert with many of the other controls. Our lens, of course, mounts on the front, and to get the lens off, you've got to press the release button, lock release button, and rotate the lens off like so. It clicks back into position. Some of the lenses have an automatic and manual focus button over here. Below it over here is the focus, the way the focus works here, either for continuous shooting, single shots, or manual. So it's sort of the autofocus mode. Now you've got a splash-proof cover over here covering two different connectors. The top one is your PC connection for outboard flashes like studio flashes. I did a nice portrait shot last night with kids. Yeah, I attached the cable here, hook it up to your strobes, and you can have a hardwired connection to your external strobe lights. The next is the 10-pin connector over here, primarily used with the additional GPS cable so that you can embed GPS information into the shots you're taking, showing exactly where they were taken. Here is your flash mode control and flash exposure control, the little lightning bolt over here used in concert with the command dials to either bias the amount of flash you're getting or to change the mode of the flash. Here's the mechanical release for the onboard flash on the camera. Be careful with this. It's fairly robust, but be careful as you're using it. And as we come around, we have another splash-proof cover over here. And here's your I/O going into the outside world, the video output for going to the televisions, the HDMI, which produces the extremely high-resolution images for showing images back on your widescreen.